This is so exciting.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. All right, buenos días y bienvenidos, mi gente. ¿Cómo está todo el mundo? How's everyone doing? Well, for those of you who don't know who I am, Ayanna Roman, I'm the president and CEO of Amplify LatinX.
Woo!
And I am delighted to be here this morning with you all. And if you're as excited as I am, can you please say huepa? I mean, we're thrilled to have Congresswoman Pressley here with us. And I just want to ask you to look around the room and feel the energy, because this is what community feels like. Because allies like Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley are the kind of people that make our world work possible. And that's why we're here, because we're here to thank her. I know she doesn't seek the recognition, she doesn't ask for the recognition, but we want to thank her publicly, and we want to recognize that she is someone who champions the Latino community and all underserved communities, because she's all about equity and inclusion and making sure that we all feel like we belong. And, you know, we are, as you all know, we are an intersectional collective, and we focus on making sure that we bring a brighter future and that we're uplifting the Latino community in Massachusetts, but especially ensuring that we have an inclusive economy for Latinos and, you know, and other underserved communities here, because we know, unfortunately, that that wealth is not equitably distributed, right? And so we want to change that. We want to make sure that policies that are in place that have limited the progress of communities of color are evolving in a way so that we can ensure that that access and opportunity is there for us. And you know, we visualize a future of a shared prosperity, right? Because it's all about ensuring that we not only have access to wealth, but also that our people are in the rooms where it happens, like our dear Congresswoman here, right? Because she's there fighting for us. She was able to get funding for 15 different projects, right? For this federal funding, which is called community funding, which she explained earlier that was before known as earmarks. And that matters, right? Because she actually reached out to us. We didn't reach out to her. She reached out to us, and she was like, I want to make sure that you're included in this project funding that I will be championing for my district and for the people of Massachusetts. And, you know, and I always say that inclusive policies do not diminish excellence. They make them better. They make them stronger. They enhance them, right? And excellence has no ethnicity. And that part. Right? Excellence has no ethnicity. It's really important that we you know, just have that in our minds and in our hearts, because too often we're told that we don't belong, or that we don't look like the person that should be there, or that we don't have the right accent, or that we don't this or we don't that. And you know what? That's not correct. We need to make sure that we understand that we're an integral part of the fabric of this nation, and that Spanish was actually spoken in this land before any other language. I mean, it's the oldest non-native language spoken in this land. So yes. So, and that's why I love data, right? Because everything we do, we back it up with data, because these are facts. We're not making up anything. We conduct research, and we commission studies so that when we go and ask for dollars and for support, we are speaking with facts. We're not making up anything. So anyway, you'll be hearing from the Congresswoman in a few minutes, but first I would like to thank a few people who are here in the room. Starting with Katiuska Valiente, the owner of Peka, who has so graciously welcomed us tonight. It's a beautiful space. If you haven't been here before, you need to come in the evenings. It's so much fun. They have live music, and there's a lounge on the other side, and the food is delicious. So we hope you're enjoying the breakfast. Please, if you haven't eaten, please make sure that you do. And Katiuska, please come to the front and just be recognized for a second, because my Amplify team because we wouldn't be here also without them. It's a small but mighty team, and you'll see all of us right there. They work so hard to do everything that we work on, and I just want to make sure that you see them and thank them when if you recognize any of them, because they are just phenomenal. We also have in the room a few of our business advisors from our small business program. I think Sebastian and Jose are here, and they're also the heart of our small business program, which is the program that's being funded by Now, obviously, there's a lot of people here in the room who are long-standing partners of Amplify, but I also want to recognize some elected officials who are here. So I believe State Representative Kevin Honan is here. Hello, and his district director, Alex Camarena. Thank you for joining us. And then Boston City Councilor Julia Mejia is here in the room. City Councilor Liz Brighton. And then two very special city councilor elects who are Latino are supposed to be here in the room. I don't see them, but Enrique Pepe and Henry Santana. Are they here? No? Have they arrived? Okay, I don't see them. All right. I mean, it's very special to see more Latinos represented in the at the city council, because we know that's where our dear Congresswoman got started, and look where she is now, right? So it's important that we support our community, right? That we support each other. And I'll never forget when I met you through Big Sister, actually, and then we were both mentors for Big Sister. And you became a city councilor, and I always thought, my gosh, this woman's going to go places. And then when you said you were running for Congress, I was like, yes, let's do it. And here we are. And look at everything you've done for us and continue to do. So I also want to acknowledge a few. I just went off script for a second. I just want to acknowledge a few other people who are here, and especially my board members, Mary Skelton Roberts. She is a climate change expert who has recently been appointed to the MBTA Board of Directors in the newly created City of Boston seat. So we're really proud of her. Aileen Alexopoulos, and Aileen works at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and she's a Senior Director of Health Equity and DEI. She's in the room. And Dr. Raúl Fernández, a Boston University professor and civil servant. Thank you for joining us. So today's a really long day for the Amplify team, because we have this in the morning, then we have a team meeting, then we have a board meeting at 3, and then we have our little holiday social. So imagine, these people are going to be with me for 12 hours, so thank you for being here so early. Who does that, right? Like 20 events in one day, but energy. All right, so now I'm thrilled to introduce our esteemed Congresswoman, Ayanna Pressley. Ayanna Pressley is a longtime champion and supporter and friend of Amplify LatinX. She has always said presente for us. From her days at Boston City Hall to now in the halls of Congress. She's a respected national figure because of her commitment to safeguard our democracy. We are here to thank Representative Pressley for her work and dedication for our people, to our people. Last year, what I said a few minutes ago, she championed funding for 15 community projects that directly benefit constituents in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District, her district. Amplify Small Business Initiative was a recipient of this investment, an investment that directly impacts the economic development of the Latino community. This funding is supporting intensive bilingual and culturally relevant business coaching for Latino businesses, some of which are here today, and you'll hear from them. And this $400,000 investment, that's a big deal. You need to clap. $400,000. will impact directly the stability and vitality of the Latino community. So thank you. Now, without further ado, join me in welcoming Ms. Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to, just say at the outset, y'all are in trouble because I feel myself already going off script. So my team is already looking at me like, but stick to the script. So we'll see how we go here. But first, I just wanted to say how full circle it is and incredible to be here at Peka. You may recall during my 8-year tenure on the Boston City Council, I think one of the legacies that I'm proudest of is the advocacy and the impact that we were ultimately able to have when it comes to liquor license reform and growing the number of walkable amenities and restaurants throughout the city of Boston. You know, these restaurants, these are cultural anchors, social and economic anchors, job creators, especially for those who experience barriers to employment. We deserve places that we can walk to in our communities to celebrate life milestones. And so it's very full circle to be here at Peka. I will be back for date night. If you are here, when I am here for date night with my husband, please don't come over. I'm kidding. Come over, pull up a chair. But I will definitely be coming back. And so, I just want to say it's so important that we have these cultural, social, and economic anchors, and we need to continue to support them, and we need to continue to grow them. So one more time for Peka. Yeah, I like that energy. You know, I'm going to keep matching that because this is a celebration of a $400,000 investment through our community project funding. I love community project funding because to me it highlights the best sort of collaborations. And I do believe that government is supposed to be in symbiotic partnership with community. I call it cooperative governing. And I really appreciate Anita naming that I did not wait to be lobbied, that my team and I proactively reached out to say, what are your needs? This funding is about to become available. It's not true if you build it, they will come. Because if people don't know about it, and so often our entities, our organizations, our agencies, our community-based organizations have the greatest need, but are not even aware that these federal dollars are available or don't have the capacity to go after them. And so with intention, we reached out because I think the people closest to the pain should be the closest to the power, driving and informing the policy making. And so this is the best kind of collaboration, those that are community-driven, led by you, but endorsed by your government, and then invested. And I care about investment because the Massachusetts 7th is the most unequal district in our delegation, one of the most unequal in the country. And that is as the result of decades of divestment, of under-resourcing, and of policy violence. And let me just say this. As someone who is committed to the work of economic justice and of racial justice, we have to be strident and unapologetic in naming our communities out loud. You know why? Because the harm that has been caused, the neglect that has been caused was very precise. It was very targeted. And so in the work of harnessing our collective brilliance, in the work of meeting people's dreams and aspirations, in the work of building generational change, improving outcomes, and building wealth, I am standing on, yes, I am fighting for the Latinx community. Name it! Name it! Because it is only with women and people of color as candidates or electeds that they try to lobby this charge of identity politics. We are not going to sit here and pretend that identity doesn't matter. We're not going to sit here and pretend that representation doesn't matter. And so, yes, I am committed to the health and an ecosystem that works for everyone. And it is okay to say I care about Black wealth. It is okay to say that I care about the wealth of the Latinx community. You know, several years ago, I had the opportunity to go, I'm very off script, just to be clear. I'll get back to it. I had the opportunity to go and organize an indigenous community. And first, when I walked in, the elders said to me, 3 ancestors are around you. And I believed them. And they challenged me. Before I left the reservation, they said, make sure you are a better ancestor than descendant. And that has never left me. And it's these sorts of investments that will support needs in the immediate, but also deliver a love letter to future generations. And that really is what I care about. We have got to improve the outcomes and change the legacy of this district, and we do that with robust and equitable investment like this $400,000 from this community project funding, and we are just getting started. Now, let me also say this, and why it is so important that we have Spanish language media and ethnic media and mainstream media here today. To change the narrative, I think so often when people think of our communities, they are sitting in the deficit. They don't recognize our assets. They are sitting in our most, defining us solely by our traumas and our hardship, and lifting up our resilience in the face of being under-resourced, divested, and policy violence. But y'all, resilience is overrated. You know, I want to stand on and uplift the innovation, the brilliance, the entrepreneurialism. And so the Latinx community is one of the fastest growing communities in the Commonwealth, and we all benefit from your unique contributions to our economy, our culture, and of course, our restaurant scene, again, including our incredible hosts at Peka. And as you all know, I waited tables for 6 years, so I have got to give it up to our wait staff, taking good care of us today. And again, y'all, I know that I'm preaching to the choir, but why do I do that? Because I need the choir to sing. Go out into the city, into the Commonwealth, and sing about this restaurant. Go out into the Commonwealth and sing about what is possible when you have a government that is representative, that sees you and centers you. Go out there and sing about what is possible when we collaborate and when you have a congresswoman who actively listens to you and partners with you. Today is a manifestation of every single one of those things. So it's incumbent upon all of us in government to deliver the support you need to expand your impact and support yourselves, your families, and your neighborhoods. And again, that's why I'm so proud to be celebrating this $400,000 investment of federal funds to support bilingual, culturally relevant, and intensive business coaching to 65, again, a love letter to future generations, to 65 Latinx micro businesses with a focus on underserved populations. This program is specifically targeted to immigrants and non-native English-speaking populations, low to moderate income entrepreneurs, minority and women-owned businesses. I've always said that our small and micro-owned businesses are the backbone of our communities. It is these informal economies that have kept us going when we faced discrimination in other ways, or lending discrimination from financial institutions. It is these informal economies, our early education, our community-based early educators, our barbershops, our beauty salons, our restaurants. These are assets. And I'm so glad that, you know, with our collective work, people are finally seeing them as exactly that and worthy of investment. And with our Latinx communities among the hardest hit during the pandemic, targeting these resources to them will be critical to ensuring a just and equitable long-term economic recovery. And we are still recovering. Now, a lot of my colleagues like to talk about the economy in strictly numerical terms, citing data and statistics, and believe me, I could exhaust you with data. I'm a bit of a nerd in that way. I love data and I believe in the power of data. But data, it's about people. It's about people. And policy is my love language, and the numbers do matter. But this is as much about the GDP as it is about our families. And I need to just, again, acknowledge that. These are incredible economic engines. And so I understand the importance of supporting small businesses and the role they play in our economy. They are anchors that generate wealth and drive foot traffic. This is critical to a healthy ecosystem. I was saying earlier in an interview about Amplify that, who you vote for can determine who's elected. And who's elected determines the policies. And the policies determine every damn thing. They determine who lives, who dies, who survives, who thrives. So again, I understand the importance that each of you play, and I'm just so glad to be here to celebrate the power of partnership with trusted community voices like Amplify, LatinX, and we can help deliver resources tailored to the unique gifts and challenges that communities face. We recently marked 5 years, if y'all can believe that, since I was elected to represent you all in Congress. And a lot has changed. A lot has happened in the last 5 years. I mean, I've been governing during some of the most consequential times for our country. And although alopecia took my hair, my conviction hasn't changed. Okay, so let's be clear about that. But this morning's event, really is a testament to what I said throughout that campaign, which is that the people closest to the pain should be the closest to the power, and to the advocates for and in partnership with our communities who are most in need. This morning's event is a testament to you, to the power of us, and what I call cooperative governing. So this is truly the fruit of our labor. So I'm grateful once again to Anita, to the entire team at Amplify, LatinX, and everyone who made today possible. And now I do really look forward to hearing from all of you who are here about how these funds will continue to support your growth. Thank you.
Absolutely, no. So we will definitely hear beautiful stories. We chose a sample of businesses to share a little bit of their story. But before we transition to that, I just want to say how much your message hits home, right? Because we always say at Amplify, we always say that we're about making sure that we shift and control the narrative to a narrative of abundance and not deficit.
Yes.
Because we're contributors. We contribute to this country would not move without the Latino community, right? And so, and we saw it during the pandemic, essential workers, farm workers, Latinos, so listen, it's about making sure that we own that narrative and that we step into that power and understand that it's not about dividing. It's not about saying I'm better than you. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we are as valuable as everyone else that's in this country.
That's right.
And we need to internalize that. And you said something else very, very meaningful about the love letter to the next generations, because let me tell you, as you know our story very well. We founded this out of a need for community, right? Because we felt isolated, we felt alone, we felt like we need to come together because there's a few of us that really care, and there's a lot of people that don't feel like they belong. We need to make sure that there's a platform where we all feel like we belong. And so we built Amplify out of a need for community, but also a need for service, to make sure that we, without articulating it as beautifully as you just said it, right? But this is the legacy, right? It's a love letter to the next generation, to all of your kids and their kids, so that they feel that they're part of the fabric of this nation and not others.
That's right.
So on that note, again, you want to hear the stories, and again, thank you for your eternal inspiration, because you serve, but you also inspire. So thank you for that. And we're here because of the community we serve. And on that note, I would ask you to join me in welcoming my dear colleague, Liday Rengifo. Liday is the heart and soul of our small business program. She's our small business program director, and she leads a team of advisors and other consultants who work with us to guide and to support the success of our small business community. And you will hear from a select group of Amplify's businesses. But without further ado, I want to to come to the podium. Thank you. Oh, yeah, we do too.
Buenos días. Gracias por estar aquí. Okay. Well, my name is Eliana Enrico. I am the Small Business Program Director. The Small Business Program is committed and strengthening the economic prosperity of Latino business in Massachusetts. We focus on developing essential skills, guiding strategy decision making, and accessing research, accessing research that increase job creation and prosperity in our community. This is the essence of our program. We excel at providing customized business coaching and workshop and innovation and market trends. All available in English y en español. And because we are culturally responsible, we can understand and address the specific of our Latino community. Entendemos cómo somos los latinos, por eso, porque somos culturalmente responsables. We have a multicultural team and specialized consultant. Allá están todos, los que muchos de ustedes ya los conocen. Committed and help our entrepreneurs' success and every stage their development. Today, I am honored to introduce you the 4 outstanding entrepreneurs from our community. They embody the significant change and benefit that come from strengthening the Latino business economy, not only in their life, but in the collective well-being of our community. They are here to share their story, how our program was a catalyst in their entrepreneurial journey. Okay. Thank you. Bueno, okay, I am present the Fair Business and Solar Flare Optics. This is amazing, innovator business. Please, Evelyn, come in here.
Okay, you cheated me. You never told me that we were first, or I was first. But anyways, buenos días, good morning. I want to thank Liday, que es una mujer súper poderosa. Liday, thank you so much. You're a powerful woman. Mi profe, I can still not stop calling you mi profe. She was my professor in Cambridge College when I was doing my psychology degree. And 18 years later, we're here. I can't believe it. And I just signed up for a master's program, so don't call me crazy, as we run a small business. But anyway, I'll be as brief as possible because I know we have wonderful stories coming up. Así que voy a ser bien rapidita. Quiero decirle que mi nombre es Evelyn Everton with Solar Flare Optics, a family-owned small business operated by me, a Dominican native, Caribe, ya tú sabes. And my Dorchester native husband, Scott. Solar Flare Optics is a power mobile optical shop. So somos una óptica que anda en bicicleta por toda la ciudad, llevando servicios de lentes, affordable eyewear and prescription lenses. We take pride in Solar Flare being an innovative business that brings a unique flair and style in creating also career opportunities for inner city youths and individuals of diverse background. Bike and sunglasses are at the core of our marriage. So Solar Flare is more than a business. It's a big part of our family bond, along with our 2 toddlers, Cassius and Apollo, which I love them. My biggest motivations besides them is to see someone's face light up when they try their eyeglasses, especially because some of us might be conscious about how glasses can make us feel. So we hope that we can help you build confidence through your eyewear. In regards to Amplify LatinX, I want to say thank you so much. It was instrumental for us in organizing our finances. Los números no son mi amigo. Ellos me miran y me sacan la lengua. But I'm doing my best to be more comfortable with the numbers. Thank you so much for helping us organize our finances, our operations, looking at the market and what venues were the most convenient for us. We're riding a bike, we're under the sun, we're under the rain, we're under the cold. So looking at what markets are the most valuable for us and more cost effective was key. So thank you for that. Our vision is to one day have our own lab here in Massachusetts. I think the first one to be co-owned by a woman, so I'm very excited to see that happening at some point. And I think it's important that organizations like yours exist. The journey of an entrepreneur is very isolating, right? Todo el mundo trabaja de 9 a 5, sabe cuándo entra, sabe cuándo sale. When you own a business, you don't have any schedule. You have to accommodate to your family needs, and you have to juggle a lot. So it can be isolating, and having a coach guide us through that process and keeping us uplifted is very important. So thank you so much for all the work you do. Muchísimas gracias. Mis bellas, hermosas damas que vienen por ahí, de verdad que súper agradecida de estar al lado de ustedes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn, for amazing business. The second business, let me introduce to the Brighton Family Daycare, Adora, que tiene un hermoso, exitoso, y una historia maravillosa. Ella es dueña de Childcare Provider.
Buenos días. Good morning, everybody. Estoy muy emocionada de estar aquí hoy con todos ustedes. I'm so happy and excited to be here today with all of you, sharing my story about my business. I opened the door for Bright Beginners Family Daycare 24 years ago. I remember it was September when the 9/11 happened, so the 9/11. The license was in my house at that time, so it was since that time that I opened the door. And I started with 6 children, and after that I added 10 children. And I did that because I had my first child, and childcare is very expensive, and not necessarily was the place that I was looking for. So as a parents, we always want the best for our family, especially our children. We want them to have a great foundation, and that's my mission and my passion. I am doing this business today because I believe that the foundation for the children need to start in the early age. Yes. Not when they are 5 years old, not when they are 6 years old, when they are babies. Because guess what? If you give them a great foundation, they're going to be great leaders tomorrow. They're going to be maybe the presidents of the United States later on. And today, I do have limitations because I just can have 10 kids in my daycare, license only for 10. So my thinking is, open a daycare, but that's coming another cost and everything. And today I'm so happy with LatinX because I met Lidai 2 years ago. And Lidai was a person who helped me and gave me the best person who worked with me together. They have a great organization who are helping entrepreneurs, but also make them feel comfortable working with them. And I work with Lidai, and they help me to create and organize my finances. Like she said, I'm a teacher, but I'm not mathematics. And remember, when you are an entrepreneur, so you have to be the director. You have to be everything. And over here, sometimes can look like, it's easy to be home, but you don't know how many hours of operation I had to do working with children and family. And I feel so happy, excited, and blessed because I don't think everybody can say that. Having the opportunity to work with different families from different backgrounds and coming to my program, believe in what I do, believe in what I'm teaching. So that's make me happy because my children in my program, they speak Spanish. they eat the Spanish food. And that's something that is not normal in other daycares, because here they are learning my culture. And also they are learning the ways that how we can dance, how we can move. And working with children make me feel child too, because I remember that I go to my child school that I didn't have like they do have here. My childhood was so different. I grew up in the countryside and it's so different than here. But today, for example, I met with Sebastian yesterday. It was incredible. Thank you, Sebastian. To these days, to what I learned from LatinX, I still put into practice. And I can say that I can see my daycare that are prospering and also able to see in different ways that I can be able to grow. And that's just because they did an amazing job trying to help me to keep everything organized. And thank you so much for the invitation. And I feel so proud to be here. And thank you for being here in front of you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was so excited.
Let's promote the business.
I am in Randolph. I was in Hyde Park for 20 years, and then we moved 3 years ago to Randolph, Massachusetts. And right now, you can reach me Facebook, you can reach me Instagram, you can reach me website, so you find me, okay? Thank you. And also my business, this past May was nominated for SBA as one of the best home-based business, and I'm so happy and excited for every support that I have. Thank you.
That's my wife.
Thank you. The husband very for you. Okay, the next business I am pleased to introduce as Carolicious. The Carolicious is a Venezuelan food y las mejores.
Gracias. Well, buenos días. Good morning, everyone. My name is Carolina Garcia. In the table is Carolina Salinas. We are calling us Las Carolinas since the beginning in 2016. I'm the co-founder of Carolicious. It's a Venezuelan food restaurant located in MIT, Somerville, and Everett. And Carolicious grew 7 years ago under the wing of Somerville Art Consuls and the Nibel program, as well as the support of Commonwealth Kitchen, and of course for all our loved customers who give a try at our arepas and bowls. In this new chapter, Carolicious is where Carolicious is about to open a new location at Bow Market. Wow. Yes. And we appreciate a lot the support of Amplify LatinX, preparing us to secure capital and expand our network with things like this today. And the dedication from this organization, Lidai, Eneida, and all the team for having a small business program that have a team of experts allow us to enjoy a personalized advice to makes any goal possible. We also thank all the nonprofit organizations continue supporting small businesses that wish to grow. And of course, thank you, Congresswoman Pressley. We remember you in your birthday in Bow Market. We did the catering there, and we are very proud to do that. Yes. Yes. And the opportunity to speak here in front of you and share our gratitude. We want you to see you in Carolicious to spoil you with amazing and spectacular flavors and the best service. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
everyone remembers the contours of the Massachusetts 7, but all of these businesses are in the Massachusetts 7. So Boston, Randolph, Somerville, Everett, those are all in the Massachusetts 7.
Our last business, tengo el honor de introduce a Gloria, de Gloria Beauty, an amazing beauty center and amazing community collaborator.
Good morning, everyone. Yes. Thank God, the first thing. I'm very proud to be here. Thank you, Ayanna Pressley. Thank you, Oneida. Thank you, Lidai. The best thing I know this year is Lidai. Yes. I talk in Spanish first, and then I say the English after. Mi nombre es Gloria Rivera. I'm from Dominican Republic. And I have a beauty salon in Austin, Brighton. My concept over there. I represent over there. Austin, Brighton is the beautiful city from Boston. Yes, it's the best. And then I from Dominican Republic. I come into this country in 1994. I come in with my American dream in my back. And when I come into this country, I'm entrepreneur in my country. I was 14 years old because I have my beauty salon in my house. I don't know if I'm entrepreneur. Now I know this word. But that's what I do for life. And then when I come into this country, I see it's different to my country because this country have too many licenses, permit, and I don't know the language. Now it's the easy way because when I come in 1994, everybody speaks English. And then I have to try to find somebody go to the places because nobody speaks Spanish. And then now it's more easy. Almost everybody speaks Spanish. Everywhere you go to Spanish. Now everything is in Spanish in different languages. And then when I come in 1994, when I see I can do my own job, it's the beauty salon and hairdresser, I do something different. I went to working in the discotheque because I say I have to be in touch with the people. Because I see far away, I do my own business. And then I do something different before. Because I know I had to do for job, for life. I had to live in. I had to pay the rent. When I come into this country, I have one child, 3 years old. And I had to give you the food and everything. And I can do my own job. It's my passion. It's a big hairdresser. I'm very grateful for Boston. When I come into this country, I have the mayor, the name is Thomas Menino. I'm grateful with him too, because when I come into the country, his community, and help everybody. Okay, and then, yes, and then I say thank you because I can go to the school, and I learn it from this community, and then I can go to the school here, and learn me my hairdresser beauty salon for 1 year, and I cleared the license. Yes. And I get the license, and then after, I worked with the restaurant for 10 years, and I have a good mentor, and I learned it's better working with the multicultural persons, and then I've been to put in my beauty salon in Austin, Brighton, because they have people from different countries. And then in Brighton, in 2007, I put my beauty salon, now almost 17 years, and then I know Lidai, and Lidai gave me the first thing I have to do. I have to learn me how to do the business. Because in my country, you put in the business with your own money. Because you don't know nothing about the resources, you don't know about nobody giving nothing to you. And then I know Lidai, and Lidai now put the mentor, Franco, very good guy. I love it. And Sebastian, and then he teach me now how to do the business plan, and now to do the first thing I have to do before, for putting my next business, is the beauty supply, because that's my second business.
Okay.
Yes. And then I invite everybody to my beauty salon. We go to my beauty salon. I do the tattoo step hair last night for be more beautiful today. And then it's my passion. I invite everybody go to my beauty salon, and please go to the Amplify, everybody, and be successful.
Oh my God, how inspiring. Let me tell you. So, okay. So first of all, thank you, Lidai, for leading such an incredible team. I just want to name out the advisors who are in the room here. We have more, but the ones that are present here are Sebastián, Jose, Natalia, Maria, and Guillermo. Please stand up. They are strategic business advisors. They're experts in their field. And Sergio, where are you? Okay. And thank you for your service, because you are the heart of this program. These businesses, so essentially we meet them where they are, right? If they're, young, starting out, or even, they've been established, but they need better systems and better practices when it comes to marketing, when it comes to finance, when it comes to HR, when it comes to anything, operations, legal, etc. We match them with the right resources. And if they're interested in growing and scaling, we connect them to access to capital and other resources, as well as procurement opportunities, right? So depending on where you are, that's where you'll go. And depending what you want to accomplish, that's where you'll also go, right? Because it's all in the business owner. We can have the greatest advisors, but they also deserve a lot of credit. You're our inspiration. You're our inspiration, because we can do this work and we can change the economy and have a more inclusive economy here in Massachusetts, because you're willing to participate in this program and you want to accept the support and the guidance and the strategic advisors that support you day in and day out, so that you can grow well, build wealth for yourselves, for your families, and for the community, right? Because at the end of the day, I always say Latino prosperity is American prosperity, right? So thank you. All right, so thank you for inspiring us. We look forward to serving even more businesses. I mean, we've served many businesses since we started. And back in the pandemic, as the Congresswoman can attest, it was about survival, right? We were supporting this. We wanted to support businesses so they wouldn't shut down. At this point, it's about thriving. It's about making sure that we're supporting them to get to another level, right? And to build a more equitable economy. Now, without further ado, I'd like to open it up for questions, because I know you all want to hear more from the Congresswoman. And so if you'd like to stand here and answer some questions from the crowd, and I know we have some press in the room as well, so we have some minutes depending on your time, because I know we're running a little late. Okay, Ricardo says we're good, so we're good. All right, so I leave you with the Congresswoman. Thank you.
All right. I do also just want, I know Anita named them earlier, but I just want to make it very clear, this work is a team sport, and I could not do what I do, not only without the community and Amplify LatinX, but without my colleagues in government at every level. So I do just want to invite them to stand and thank them again for their leadership and their partnership. Rep. Honan, Councilor Mejia, Councilor Braden, Raul, and if Santana and Pippin are here, we welcome you and we thank you as well. Okay, all right. So I'm happy to answer any questions folks might have. I think the case has been effectively made for this investment already. Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Ayanna Pressley, thank you for taking the time to meet with the Latino community. I I know that we are a growing community with many needs and many contributions. We have many challenges, and one of them is childcare. I do know that there is a bill that is for $15 billion. I hope
16, yeah.
Oh, $16 billion. Well, I hope that, as you said, that money gets to the people that really need it, that is essentially working, because it's preventing many working families from getting to the workforce. And that's basically where my wife's commitment is. She would like to serve more families, but we also need a commitment such as yours and the rest of the politicians to understand that working families do need to get in the workforce.
Oh, absolutely. And so dating back to my time on the Boston City Council, where I founded the Committee on Healthy Women, Families, and Communities, which still exists today, I did a listening tour throughout the city of Boston on the issue of child care. One, because I think people do tend to genderize the issue. It is not a women's issue. It is a family issue. It's a family, workforce, and economy issue. I do want to acknowledge, however, that during the pandemic, not only did we experience a recession, we experienced a she-cession. There was a disparate impact on women being pushed out of the workforce because there was no child care. But in that hearing, one of the other things that we lifted up was the series of hearings that I did on my time on the council was the need for child care that is accessible for those working non-traditional work hours. That is really key as well. So we want child care to be accessible. We want it to be affordable. We want it to be quality. I have to say to our early educators, they are innovators. They are entrepreneurs. And I would probably, as a mom, go to an early educator before I even went to my pediatrician about advice or seeking insight about something relative to my child. And we were on a call the other day, and I was sharing how my mom, as a single mom, working multiple jobs, very often I was the last kid picked up. And even though they had closed, they never made my mother feel shame. They always nurtured me, loved me, made sure I felt safe. And so all the data supports, both on paper and in real life, that this determines the life trajectory of people. This is health outcomes, social and economic mobility. And the other thing I just want to say to that is we have to continue to be two-pronged in our advocacy. It's not just about families having access to affordable quality care. We cannot abandon this workforce. It is shameful what so many of our early educators are being paid. They're pouring into our babies, and they often can't take care of their own. And so I am grateful, not to make this partisan, but I am grateful for President Biden heeding our calls for a robust investment, $16 billion, and also heeding our calls during the pandemic for these critical stabilization grants that were able to keep many of our early educators afloat and to keep their doors open. But right now, given the current landscape in Washington and climate, at least in the House under a Republican majority, and again, I want to be clear, I'll work with anyone in the name of progress, okay? But many of our colleagues across the aisle just simply do not understand how essential childcare is. It is not a nice to have, it is a must have. And so that fight continues to see those funds advance, but we're grateful that President Biden heeded our calls and that money has been included in the supplemental. Okay. Yes.
Yes, now we're talking about my personal care industry. Because I want to know what you can do for us, because they have a lot of people for personal care, like in barber, beauty salon, nail place, and not have a grant for these people, and they're not putting attention too much for this group. And then almost the personal care industry speaks Spanish, and they don't have too many information. And now I have a lot of trouble with the state board, because sometimes they come to the show, they don't have too much respect for us, and I'm working very hard, and then they don't understand. Somebody they go to the shop disrespectful, they working almost 24 hours. And they lose their family, don't put attention to the kids, and they don't have a benefit, they don't have nothing. And then when they do their resources, the grant, everything, they never put attention to us. And they put others. And then everybody here uses personal care, no? Use hair, eyelashes, micro-blending, and then nobody put attention to the personal care. That's the make they put it in the building now. They don't have money sometimes for go to take a license because it's expensive. They have it now, they have a free school for everybody. But the personal care is $15,000 for people to school for 1 year. And they don't have a grant. They have to pay because it's private school. And then almost everybody don't want to work. The passion they have it, they have to go to take care of old people, child care, because it's easy to take the license. It's free. They give you money for taking the model, $2,000. They give you the free license. And the personal care have to pay a lot of money. They don't have it. They have to go to working at home, be depressed, because they don't want to do it, because they don't have enough money for pay the expensive training, the expensive license. And they go too many times to take the license, not pass the license, have to pay them again and again, and they have to pay for the training. And then I have the group, the personal care here. I try to help you on my own way. William here help me too. And then it's bad when you see somebody can do something they don't like it, because when you do your passion, you feel happy. And then you see every grant for the restaurant. Child care is the first one now. But what happened with us? I lost the family. I lost sometimes you don't have a couple because you're working a lot. And then nobody held the personal care. I have a lot of junkies working in the house, in the room, because it's difficult pay for license. And then it's too old. I think it's too old. They have to improve.
Okay.
Or go to the salon. And then they help me, please put attention to us.
Okay, thank you. No, thank you for your advocacy. And, again, very often it is those industries that are the most essential, that we use the most, that are invisible when it comes to these opportunities. That's why I think it's important. So I'll just speak to my role federally. The reason why I work with an Amplify LatinX is because they are a trusted voice. They are closest to the community. And so if a grant is not immediately coming to you and your peers in the industry, that they're going to make sure that any federal dollars that I'm delivering, so far as those funds are flexible, because sometimes there are rigid requirements for federal money in terms of who's eligible, who meets the criteria, what kind of business model. But these funds are flexible. And so working closely with Amplify LatinX, that's exactly why you were able to benefit from some of that federal investment. So I want to say your advocacy matters. I thank you for the education that you just gave me about some of the issues that I was not aware of. And I'm happy to partner with my colleagues on the state level, on the municipal level, because some of those things that you named, are federal. Our state and our municipal, they're not federal. However, I'm not in any way passing the buck on my responsibility or the role that I can play in fixing them, certainly through partnership. Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the friends in the press, from the press here present? Or, those of you who are in the back, if you have questions, you want to come up.
I just wanted to ask, are you going to be looking for funds next year for the program?
That's a good question. Again, for over a decade, this program had been disbanded. It's now called Community Project Funding. It used to be called Earmarks. So it was really only in my last 2 terms that we've had this opportunity. And I certainly am working hard. Again, I don't mean to be partisan, but I need to be at this moment to say that Democrats get the gavel back in the House so that we can ensure that community project funding opportunities continue. But right now, I do not know the future of that funding. And in fact, in this last cycle, although under Republican majority, the funding opportunities did continue, they put a lot of restrictions. And it was just really just not as flexible. So the commitment that I can make to you, since I don't have a crystal ball, is that I will certainly continue to fight for this funding opportunity through community project funding to be preserved.
What initially did you see in the first place?
Okay. Well, I don't know our origin story, sort of what made us eventually sort of get together. What I will say is it's very organic. We were already proximate, the two visionary women who founded this, we were already very proximate to one another, doing a lot of the same work, in a lot of the same rooms, and a lot of the same tables, calling out a lot of the same inequities and disparities. I wanted to be intentional in my allyship. It's one of the reasons why, I was an early supporter of the Chica Project. It's why shout out to my sister Nerdies. Nerdies, we love you, sis. She's going through a lot right now. Lost her dad. But I wanted to be intentional in my allyship because I believe in our collective upliftment and advancement as Black and brown people. And I immediately was all in because I knew that there was a need. And again, we want to do the work of racial and economic justice and social justice, and it is okay to be precise in saying I'm advocating specifically for my community. And that's what these two visionary, vigilant women were doing. And I was remarking earlier that from the beginning, when the organization was brand new and no one even knew what it was about, really, the rooms were full. They were packed. There was never a space that was small. And I think that spoke to the fact that there was such a great need. And so it's been inspiring to see the journey from inception and the evolution of this organization over time, because now this is a well-documented, respected brand. Everyone knows the mission, and their footprint and impact only continues to grow. So I guess the top lines would be that I wanted to be intentional in my allyship, I believed in the mission, and I knew there was a need. She's like, give me the soundbite, sis. Okay, did I get there? All right. She's like, what I write down? Okay, all right.
Hi, Ayanna. So those of us who followed you very closely through City Council and on, understand how closely you know our community, and now seeing you in Chelsea and Everett as your district has grown. I'm always curious to ask you now in Congress, what are the kind of either misconceptions or things that you find yourself educating other members of Congress? Congress is the highest level of legislation we have in this country. Whether Democrats or Republicans, you who I've seen from the practices know our community very well, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you find yourself educating these high-level legislators?
Okay, three things. First, the community is not a monolith. Okay. Secondly, I'm always fighting for data that is disaggregated. Okay? Because again, you cannot conflate the lived experience in the Massachusetts 7th, whether Everett, Somerville, Boston, Cambridge, someone who is Dominican, El Salvadorian, and Cuban. You just can't do that. And I think that there's a lot of shorthand, and in the midst of the othering, there is this idea that everyone is the same. So that is something I'm constantly educating on. The second is that I think that they single issue the Latino community. So they make it a monolith and then they single issue it. And I will say this as a Black woman, it bothers me when elected officials come and talk to Black folks and only talk about mass incarceration, come to Latinos and only talk about immigration reform, come to women and only talk about reproductive rights. They don't even go to the AAPI community. And the point is that none of us are single issue. We live in nuance, intersectionality, complexity. And the thing that I'm always speaking about is don't only define our communities by our hardest moments. Don't only define us by our traumas and our inequities, because we don't. You know, you have got to speak to the promise, to the aspiration, to the brilliance, to the innovation as well. So I would say those are the three things. Oh, okay.
Hi, my name is Sergio. I wanted to thank you for being here. You know, I not only had the pleasure of participating as an entrepreneur and part of the program a couple of years back, but also as a mentor, as an advisor now as well. I'm also the president of the Massachusetts Latino Restaurant Association, and my question has to do along those lines, right? When you mentioned the liquor license reform, one of the things that we hope to push is going to be removing the requirement to be a citizen to be able to be a manager on record for a liquor license. I know that is more of a state issue, but I wanted to take this opportunity to just bring it to light and to say that it's something that we really want to support, because I will tell you the truth, what is a Mexican restaurant without a margarita? So we want to make sure that we don't put barriers on something like this, because the restaurants are getting a liquor license anyhow, right? But we want it to be done, with control of that ownership, because we make it happen, right? And I'd say we as a Latino restaurant owners. But we want to make sure that we don't have a barrier that has existed since the early 1900s, right? That is really holding us back. And we would love for that to be part of the conversations. And my question to you directly is, there was a disaster relief fund where there was some funding for restaurants. I personally have applied for a couple of the clients, and we have one case in particular, Juan Parrilla in Lynn, got awarded $185,000, and they were email awarded saying that it's going to come in, and it never arrived. Is there anything that's being done right now at the moment that is going to be able to release some of these funds? He is luckily thriving at the moment, but there are a few other people that, they're still struggling during this moment from the situation that happened.
Okay, well, on that matter in particular, I mean, so there's a lot I don't know about that situation, so we should offline about that. Even though Lynn is not in my district, I'm vested in that business getting what they need, because the fact that they're surviving or being resilient, like I said, is overrated, despite having not been able to get those funds, is worrisome. I do want to remind you all, although I work in Washington, I'm not confused about who I work for, and it's all of you. So I want to remind you that in addition to your federal representative doing the work of delivering federal funding and advancing federal policy, that we also have district offices. And so I just want to encourage you, I don't know the story behind that business you're speaking about, but they really should have engaged, if you did not, their member of Congress to say what barrier they were experiencing, or the lack of responsiveness, or how come these funds never came. In my office, we did have instances like that, and we were able to get those funds released simply by using the power of our letterhead and by making the phone call. So I want to say that. On the other matter, regarding the eliminating that barrier or addressing that discrimination, that matters to me deeply. What I love about restaurants, again, they are, social, cultural, economic anchors, and they provide employment opportunities for those who experience barriers to employment. And we cannot lose sight of the fact that we also need to be intentional about creating opportunities for ownership. In eliminating, all of those barriers. This is ultimately about wealth building. Some of us in this room, maybe we are doing the best in any generation of our family, but more often than not, we've seen gains in income, but not in wealth. And I think the reason why sometimes we struggle to get people to have buy-in for the things we're advocating for is because they don't see themselves reflected in the benefit of that. And so we have to make that case. So I'll give an example. Black and brown students borrow and default at higher rates more than anyone else. And that is because our families don't have generational wealth. So we believe education is life's great equalizer. we believe, okay, if in a meritocracy, education is that equalizer, but higher education has been put farther and farther out of reach. And we know that DACA recipients aren't even eligible for in-state tuition or a lot of those benefits, right? And so all this is connected. Student debt crisis is a $2 trillion crisis. You know, so I'd like to just show people how these things are connected. You may not feel invested in that non-citizen manager or owner, you know, being able to get a liquor license. But if they're unable to build wealth, if they're unable to build generational wealth, this is how this plays out. Their kids will likely have to borrow. They might default. And that contributes to a $2 trillion crisis, which is why I'm not done fighting for student debt cancellation. I want to be clear about that. Yeah. So I appreciate your question. I would love to know more about, I am very discerning about what things I lean in on the state level. Rep. Honan can attest to this. I'm on the federal level, so okay. But where there are opportunities to lean in, you know, and to partner, we certainly do look for those. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question and for what you do every day.